Why, hello there. Please bring yourself out of the bad weather and join us for another rainy day reading. I am your host, Walter Holliger, and before I introduce my guests, let me just say to all of you, I am so sorry. I did not know this was going to be this bad.
Still better than Hungry Joker.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
I have no opinion on this matter.
As you can hear, our guests today are Jonathan Gaharl. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good.
Cool. David O'Neill.
I'm good, too.
Nice to hear. And Joe Stratman. Are you cool as well?
I'm drinking alcohol. What do you think?
Call that a maybe.
According to American pop culture, that makes you the coolest person here. And you have 12 ladies on around you.
No, because Brianna would kill them.
Oh, right.
Okay. What is let's see, there's triple, quadruple. What is the word version of 12 for that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, the joke's passed anyway.
Yeah, but moving on. Moving on.
Yep, moving on. So I guess we're gonna ask, what are you reading? Or I should mention, we're reading Cheer Cheer. So let me explain how we all came to read Cheer Cheer, because I'm sure a couple of you at least want an explanation for why.
I want an explanation.
Cheer Cheer. So, back in October, you guys were doing Princess Resurrection. I kept seeing Jonathan, tweeting about Princess Resurrection, and I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. I wonder what else this guy's done. Maybe he's done something we can have on Rainy Day Reading. And sure enough, I see a 1-volume, 8-chapter series about cheerleading. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do this. This seems fun. So I scheduled it down, I got you all together, and then I started reading it. And I immediately felt terrible.
You should feel terrible.
I'm not going to hate this as much as you guys did, but even I was shocked this came from the same person. This is like this guy's Pandora in the Crimson Shell. Oh boy.
I hadn't done a rainy day reading for a while because the last 2 months have been hell on me. So I'm just like, okay, I'll do this. And then it's like I get to it to the last minute, I'm like, oh god. What did I do?
Of speed reading.
But anyway, as you all know, we are going to talk about one thing first, and that is, I'm going to ask you guys, what have you been reading lately? And Joe, it's been the longest since you've been on Rainy Day Reading, so I expect something good from you. So go for it, Joe. What have you been reading?
All right. I teased it to my 100 followers on Twitter, so you get to learn my guilty pleasure manga, which, since we're... Yeah. It is Psychic Academy by Katsuaki. It is something... came out early 2000s, late 90s, and it is the most generic... kid who goes to a psychic academy, which is basically wizard school, and he has 2 love interests in the mysterious Mew and his childhood friend Orina, and he has a trainer who is named Master Boo and is a rabbit. It is a rabbit that talks like Mickey from Rocky, and the rabbit is a pervert. So there's that, and Katsuaki is huge. I wouldn't say huge in the ecchi, but he does a lot of ecchi work. So it's a lot of artwork where it is obviously meant to, get women in situations where they can show underwear or they can show very nice outfits, but it has... I like the artwork. It is very nice. I like the character designs. I mean, he's very good artist, but it gets creepier and creepier because it's in high school, and now I'm 33 years old. This isn't the early 2000s anymore, and I'm and
Mr. McConaughey, where have you been? We need you back on the set of Dazed and Confused.
All right.
You say this is a rather generic read, but I want to read a manga with a trainer rabbit that talks like Mickey
Yeah.
from Rocky.
I don't know if it's a localization or the writing itself. The writing is pretty good. I mean, it is, the setup is generic as all hell, but the writing is good enough. Probably the thing that attached me to it is that the main character I is like the little brother of the guy who saved the world. Like his brother has this big long name, but he goes by Zero, and he's like the friendliest guy in the world, and everybody loves him. And then he's the little brother, and I am the little brother. I can't say what all my big brother does because he is on like, he works for like congressmen. He is on like boards and stuff. So he does a lot of big important stuff. And here I am on Oscar Sunday doing a podcast on Cheer. So
Yeah.
So
Again, I apologize.
it is, and I very much like the art. I very much like the art of all the women. It's like, I don't really like describing stuff as like, you know, how they make the women look good because I like to think I have more substance than that. I don't know if I do. That's, I guess, an argument for somebody else. But the women in his manga look really good. And as another point of trivia, they made a manga, or the manga got an anime adaptation, and it was online only, but Tokyo Pop brought it over, and then they had a bundle deal with the first volume of the manga and the anime, but the anime is terrible, don't ever watch it. And you can't really watch it because it was one of the quickest things to ever go out of print I have ever seen. Less than a week after it came out, nobody could buy a copy of it. So either they didn't make it a whole lot because they didn't expect it to sell, or just they barely did enough to consider it a release. Let's see.
All right then.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to look at more stuff the author did, and one of them was called Daddy Star Virgin.
Oh,
And
What?
Futari
No.
Ecchi for ladies. So it's like, maybe I don't want to keep up with this guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got.
I'm sorry. Now I'm googling Daddy Star Virgin. Which,
It sounds like something I would have read.
yeah, it really does. I cannot find Daddy Star Virgin when I Google it, which I'm kind of lucky.
It's on
So-
the Anime News Network.
We'll look it up later then.
Everything's
Thank
there.
you, Joe.
You're
That's-
welcome.
I still really like the idea of the bunny trainer that speaks like Mickey.
It is a good
David.
thing.
You're gonna crap like
Yeah, David, what have you been reading?
Okay, I've been reading two kind of small, like I haven't gotten too far in either of them, but the first is I've started JoJo Part 5 now, but I finished Part 4.
Part 5's fantastic. I love Part 5.
I'm not as crazy about it as I was for Part 4 so far, but it's fun. I like the new protagonist. It's pretty cool so far. The art's still great. Like, at this point, Araki is just... everything he draws looks amazing, and he's always doing creative things with the stance and stuff. And I absolutely love that the main character says he wants to be a gang star. Like, star.
You're not
like,
saying it
that's
right. You're
the
not saying it
dumbest.
right. He's gonna be a gang star.
A gang star. It's so dumb. I love it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's the one
Dude.
with Dio's son, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
but he also has JoJo blood in him, since technically
Yeah.
Dio had a JoJo
It was a
body.
child born when he was Dio's head on Jonathan's body.
Yeah. It's weird.
This sounds
fucked up
suspiciously
bloodline.
familiar to the birth of Mordred in the Dark Tower series, except much less dumb.
Okay.
If you've ever read the Dark Tower series, basically the big bad guy of the series is like this old it's like this old one sort of monster called the Crimson King. And so he came up with this really, really stupid plan to get the main character of the book, Roland, to have sex with a succubus, steal his sperm from said succubus, and then mix in his own sperm to create a half human, half old one spider monster baby thing monster. I'm not making
Well,
this
alright
up.
then.
Sperm doesn't work like that.
Stephen
don't know.
King! Stephen King.
Stephen King is an expert in this, you know.
Stephen
Anyway.
King.
I can't be too loud on this. I am a
Anyway.
Stephen King fan in the room, so.
Anyway, the other thing I've read, and so far it's only 2 chapters, but I noticed that the new manga that's from Nisio Isin and the artist of Medakavox, which is also Nisio,
Oh,
has
that's out?
started. Yeah,
It's
there's
out?
2
What?
chapters out so far, and it's
Dish
pretty
Girlfriend?
interesting.
Dish Girlfriend.
It's called Shonen Shoujo. I don't know what you're saying.
That sounds like
Shonen?
something the creator of Monogatari and Madoka Box would make.
But it's some kind of pun that's in Japanese that means ill boy and ill girl, and what the premise is this boy who's like obsessed with individuality and being this, and how he's the same with everyone else, and he wants to be different and remembered, gets this incredibly rare disease that makes it so everyone in the world's face and details are blocked out to him. But then he meets, and at first, when he realizes it, even though he's going to die in a few years because of the disease, he's actually really excited because he thinks it makes him different, and he's finally going to be remembered. And he like asks for the disease to be named after. Yeah, he's crazy. But then he meets the only other person with that disease, which is a young girl, and she's slightly older than him. And he realizes that if she dies before him, then he won't be remembered. She'll be remembered because she's a much nicer, kinder person. So then and this is the whole premise, is that he decides that he has to kill her.
Are you fucking
And
with
that's the setup. That's the setup.
What?
Wow.
Yes.
That's fantastic! Oh my god!
He
I
needs to
fucking
kill her,
love
so
Miso Isin.
It is something so. And things expand in the second chapter, and it's definitely interesting so far.
I can't wait till the Kumagawa moment.
Yeah.
Aw,
I
man.
hope it goes places with this. But so far, it is very interesting.
Well,
having a good time
that's exactly what I'm doing after this podcast. Is
Yeah.
going to that and reading it, because oh my god.
I'm gonna wait for Venture Brothers. I can't wait for more
Oh, that's right.
Adventures of the Blue, crap, I forgot the fucking name already.
Congratulations. So David, those were the 2 series you've been reading?
Yep, that's it.
Alright, well thank you. You're reading some fantastic stuff. Unlike Joe, who's reading Daddy Star Virgin, apparently.
I'm not reading that. It's just another thing by the
For
author.
now.
You talked about a segment called What Are You Reading? What am I supposed to think? Jonathan, how many series are you talking about this week?
Just 2.
Okay, that's not bad for you.
Alright, let's get through this. The first one I'm reading, and this title is a mouthful. It's a web manga by artist who calls themselves Moo Moo, and that's with 2 U's, not 2 O's. Don't get confused. And it is
Yeah.
called I Got Stuck in Real Life, so it's okay to get addicted to an MMO, right? Yeah, that sounds terrible. I know. Like
Now here's the thing.
I've
though.
already checked
I've
out.
read this. I've read this series that you're talking about, and I checked out in the first chapter because because that opening.
Hey, let me
is-
tell it. Let me tell it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the opening is basically child abuse.
Yeah.
It's this is a web manga, so they go by different rules because it's all self-published, just like with light novels that start as web novels and then get picked up by publishers later. Like, for example, did you know that the original light novels for Gate were originally much more propagandic and terrible before a publisher picked them up?
Not surprised.
Anyways, this manga makes a lot of questionable decisions, like the whole starting with fucking child abuse and running away from home stuff. But once it gets going, it's really fucking funny. It's about a girl with a really crappy real life, but thanks to her her good friend, she gets interested in a VR massive multiplayer online RPG game, and she absolutely knows nothing about video games, but she gets wrapped up in this world, and the story the series is setting up is about her learning to overcome her problems in her life through the people she meets in that game, whether some big stupid plot I don't care about kind of building. But it's also a comedy first and foremost, and it's hilarious. The art in this series is so weird at times. It just makes these amazing, incredible expressions. I'll post some for you, some in the chat for you guys to see while I'm talking about it. And it has a bunch of really great jokes, like, for example, the friend explains that they have to go hunt down like simple, weak monsters early on to level up. So she ends up like dragon punching this cute raccoon she sees, and she freaks out and gets in a fight with the girl and like tricks her into turning her back so she can slap her with her stake, for example. There's a lot of just great, ridiculously stupid moments like that. Oh, and there's also this one guy who appears for a few chapters and I hope comes back, who's basically a guy from 2chan who has the worst life because he got bullied by a bunch of assholes on 2chan, and he wanted to be a good MMO player to other players, except after meeting our main characters who are just generally either stupid or terrible, he ends up realizing that the only thing left for him to do in life is talk shit about people on 2chan before they do it to him. I'm not making this up. They even make a joke where the main girl falls on him and he feels her boobs funny by making it go on so long, and he just lays there because he's like, okay, I'm just not gonna mess with this moment. This is cool. It's really hard to describe, but it's just very messy but very interesting.
Sounds like something.
It's sort
Don't noobs these days even check the wiki?
I love this fan translation so much. It's a beautiful thing. The other series I'm reading is from writer Koga Yoon and artist Mikata Suano, and it is Akuma no Riddle, which I think some of you might be familiar with.
I've seen the anime.
Yeah, the anime went anime original towards the end, if I remember correctly, which is why
That's what I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I decided to start reading the manga. It's think No More Heroes crossed with Revolutionary Girl Utena, and you're like halfway there. It's a
Jesus.
No, it's not trashy. It's actually really good and surprisingly classy.
What I saw was a bit trashy, but not that trashy.
Yeah, it's a
I didn't even think trash. Like when you said No More Heroes of Utena, I was like, oh god, that plot's gonna be a bitch to follow.
So the manga is about Suma Tokaku, an assassin, which I say in air quotes, who's been sent to this special academy in their so-called black class to hunt down a target within the class. There are 12 other people in the class, one's a target, but everyone else is an assassin sent to go after that same target. The twist is Tokaku ends up falling in love with the target, Haru, and decides to become her protector. But as the series goes on, it's becoming clear that there's more going on here. Haru's not a normal girl. She's like part of some bizarre crime syndicate, and she's been through incredible trauma, but seems to be actively manipulating people in order to survive. The question is just how much she knows she's doing this. And all the other assassins have their own backstories, and also there's just so many great characters among them, especially Banba, this girl with two personalities who's either really shy or really just crazy in the best way. She has like the best expressions. She looks like a Frankenstein's monster. But my favorite part of the series is that it's incredibly, incredibly gay. Just the gayest fucking thing. There's so much shipping, you have no idea.
Do you know if you've gotten past the point in that where the anime goes original?
No,
I'd like to know.
I haven't gotten that far yet. I think it's... right now I'm in the Romeo and Juliet arc where they put on a play.
Yeah.
But there's already been a lot of differences. Like for example, in the anime with the serial killer girl, she in the anime she tied up Haru and put a ball gag on her because fetishism, but that doesn't happen in the manga. In the manga,
oh, really?
Haru is smart enough to run the fuck away when the scissors comes out, goes to another part of the greenhouse, finds some poisonous flowers that knock her out, and ends up being the one to save the Bofern to Kaku in the situation. So Haru gets a bit more to do in the manga version than the anime.
Because I had because I did like decently what I saw of the anime and wasn't too happy with the ending, so I had considered.
The ending pissed
checking
me
out
the
the
fuck off. The
Yeah,
ending of the anime is so bad, but this is already miles more promising, and it has I also really like the art, the way the panels flow, and it's just fun seeing all these characters again, and I hope it ends better. I think it's still ongoing, but I'm not sure on that. I know the translation's not finished yet. And that's it for me.
Alright, thank you very much, Jonathan. Okay, so I have two series I want to talk about. First, I'm going to talk a very little about this one. My girlfriend is a T-Rex. So in this manga, the dinosaurs
Life
and
finds a way.
humans have peacefully coexisted up into the modern era, and dinosaurs to survive extinction basically became half human, half dinosaur hybrids. And so then one night, there's this one guy, Yuma, he's taking out his trash, and this one guy is an ex-master delinquent, king of all delinquents in his time, and he meets a feral T-Rex, Kuro, which I'm not fully convinced isn't pronounced churro. But, and they sort of form a relationship. And at first I thought, oh, this is gonna be some ecchi bullshit crap that I'm just gonna be like, oh god. This is perhaps one of the most... This is Monster Musume if all the comedy didn't revolve around it being about sex and boobs and ass and all that.
I like those
This
things.
is one of the... Yeah, I know. But this is one of the most sweetest, most charming romance series I've ever seen. And the fact that it's My Girlfriend is a T-Rex is the series I'm saying that about is fucking ridiculous.
Anime!
I read
Yeah,
the first
really.
chapter. I read the first chapter just the other day. It's adorable. I want to read
It
more of
is,
it.
isn't it?
It is.
You want to know something great? It literally draws so little focus to the sexual aspect. I didn't realize in the first chapter that he's not wearing a shirt
Yeah.
until the end of that chapter. Until they made a joke about her not wearing clothing.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's how little that matters, and
It's really
and
cute.
this just and I think this works because of it. Because I think if it did focus, if it was an ecchi series, and oh my god, it could have been an ecchi series. It really could have, but the fact that it's not, I think, and they go for a much sweeter angle, makes this definitely one of the most memorable things I think that will be released this year. And it is coming out in America. The first volume set for November 1st, and I'm seriously thinking of picking this up now. Because holy crap, this was amazing.
If I do, my brother will look at me weird.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking that too. I really am. But that's just what I wanted to... I just wanted to make a mention of that. I wanted
Is there a
everyone to know that
concerned third
exists.
party who says you spent all this time thinking about if you could do it, you didn't stop to consider whether you should?
Yeah, really.
Anyway, sorry.
No, I'm not done. I'm just taking a pause because I'm about to go on a bad manga rant.
Is Bowling King?
No.
Is Bowling King?
Motherfucking Green Worlds. This sucked. Oh my god, this is a terrible... Okay, so in 2017, plants evolve in like the span of an hour. Plants evolve and take over the entire world, killing off the majority of the human race.
All those
I love the
wacky
happy-
plants.
Huh?
What?
You talked over
No!
Man, no.
Kinda, yeah. Kind of the happening, but imagine less airborne, more they literally grow tentacles and eat them, and there's sunflowers made of
Wow.
people's faces.
So
Is this how-
3
origin.
months later,
Is
huh?
So
it,
origin.
by chance, is this a porn? Because this sounds like a porn.
It's not a porn, it's actually a horror series, so you're close.
God, I don't
not
understand the world
porn.
anymore.
Yeah, 3 months later, a bunch of groups of survivors have to go track down a food supply, and that's where they learn about these types of monsters that are half human, half plant that caused the evolution of plants. Only they're indestructible monsters. And so basically you got a group of survivors fighting against... Just think of like High School of the Dead, or without
Attack
the
on
Cave
Titan.
of Eden. Attack on Titan, perfect. That's perfect. It's just like, oh, the little guy against monsters of all kinds of like super strength. And I'm like, oh god. Okay, so it's one of those series. But here's the thing. I was actually really looking forward to reading this series at first, because they started to do something with the main character that I really wanted them to follow up on. And that was, you know how there's that one character in a cast like this that's like, oh god, it's kill or be killed. I have to kill everyone else around me before they kill me. And we always hate that guy. Well, it's basically like showing that the main character is going to become that guy. And I'm like, yes, that is what you do. I want to see the full evolution of a main character with a mission on why he needs to be alive, just killing off all these people. And then they introduced time travel.
Whoa.
And then they introduced the airborne viruses that turn people into soldiers. And then they threw out that whole concept I liked completely for the time travel bit. Because it turns out, oh, the one super strong guy who knows how to fight the monsters, it's the main character 30 years in the future. And I'm like, oh, god damn it.
That's the exact same twist used for a fucking side plot, for like a side mission in Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey.
Yeah. And of course, like, apparently this manga was cut into 3 parts. And I don't know why. But it's like, every time it did a new part, it's like the story completely changed, even though it's following the same characters. Like, character motivations, what characters are even doing, like, it would always change, it would always just suck. And the only thing I really liked about the series was the artwork, because the artist really knew how to do his shit. Like, the fight scenes were really cool in that, and that's nice. That's a good reason to read this series. Otherwise, it's fucking terrible. Oh, and naturally, of course, the fucking plants, of course. It was humans all along that called the plants to fight back. Oh, fucking, I hate you.
What a shocking twist.
Yeah.
First
that
Wolves
twist?
was dead the entire time.
Humans
Yep.
were the real monsters.
Yep.
Lady in the Water was actually terrible.
I never saw Lady in the Water. I saw up to the point where they introduced the guy who strengthened his arm to look like Quagmire's after he had spent a week jerking off.
Basically,
But that's about it.
Basically, Lady in the Water is about M. Night Shyamalan saying, "Hey, I'm so awesome, and all my critics are
That's
wrong."
what I've heard.
That's the
Yep.
entire movie.
Okay.
And
He's even a character in the
He
film.
plays himself as the brilliant writer.
Yeah. For real.
Are you serious?
Yes,
I
he plays
literally
himself.
felt sorry for many of the actors in that movie.
That's super funny. That is really goddamn funny. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about Green Worlds, because for all its plot, there was so little substance to this. It was a lot of the same tropes you see in these survival, like man against this greater force kind of things. Like, oh, there's the one guy who wants to be a controlling douche, so he like turns people against each other. Oh, hey, there's the one person who's sweet and kind and wants everyone to work together.
Or he's gonna die.
No, it was actually one of the main characters. And then the main character, I don't get what they fucking did with the main character this whole time. I really don't, because it's like, first he's turning evil, and then he stops turning evil, and then he goes, and then he's in the future, and then he travels to the past, and then he's training his younger self, and he changes the future, and he does all this bullshit, and then he turns into a monster, and then he's not a monster, and I fucking gave up.
Wait, if your future self trains your past self, that's some time paradox bullshit.
No, they explained it. It's that whole, oh hey, it doesn't matter what you do in the past, because since you're in the past, you've basically created a new timeline.
In my mind, as long as you started time traveling yourself, you're immune to all effects of the timeline, and you're just an anomaly in it.
Yeah, kinda.
Time travel.
Yeah, I think that's how it
I
works with
prefer
Booster Gold. Like, he can do whatever he wants in the past and change stuff, but he himself will not change. There'll just be another version of him in that timeline.
Booster Gold
Yeah.
is great.
He'll just be out of the timeline and can do whatever.
I personally like the idea of time travel, where if you touch yourself, you'll implode the entire universe.
Oh yes, the time cop rules.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Oh
like
no,
that.
wait, time cop's stupider. It's where you touch yourself, you both explode.
Explode,
The
yeah.
universe.
Yeah. They did that in what?
That's something.
What was that? Okay.
Did Leo win?
They did that in JoJo Part 7. That's how they killed Dio. Oh, you
Wasn't
didn't know
he
that?
a dinosaur at that point?
What?
Uh,
Man, there's a
yes,
lot I don't know about the JoJo
Yes,
series.
but there was fantastic time travel in that just fucked everything.
He was a
Oh.
raptor.
Alright.
Raptor Dio.
I
Yeah,
see.
it was.
I need to get
I'm
farther
done.
in
Clever
JoJo.
girl.
Green World sucked. Green World sucked.
Yeah, that sounds like some
Okay.
some shonen drawn out bullshit.
Oh, it was. It really was.
Should make an anime just so they can sell it as Attack on Titan with plants.
Oh, they don't need to do that. They're already making Attack on Titan with trains in its original series. And it's
Oh,
from the
you know
same
what?
people who did Attack on Titan's anime.
I'm actually kind of looking forward to
Yeah,
that. It looks cool.
You know what? You know what? There is one thing I forgot to mention. Because of all the plants in the world now, supposedly because the oxygen level has risen to massive levels, bugs have grown like supersized. So praying mantises stand like 20 to 30 feet tall. Dung beetles are
The
rolling up
deadly
balls
mantis.
of human corpses in order to crush people. So it really is
Yeah,
Attack
that's a
on
cooler
Titan.
premise than the plants.
You just
Yeah.
reminded me of that Christmas episode of Futurama where all the trees suddenly grow everywhere and they light a match and the entire world explodes.
Did that really happen?
Yes, it was a good episode.
That's great.
And that was just one of
Alright.
3 segments.
Yeah.
Yay.
one of 3 segments. That's like half the show. We just need to talk about Cheer now.
Let's do it.
Yep. All right. So who here liked Cheer? Raise your hand.
I'm not raising my hand.
If you raised your hand, this is an audio podcast. You're a fucking moron.
I'm not raising it, but I'll admit there's some things I think that could have worked if this wasn't terrible.
Oh no,
If
I love
only.
the idea. I love the idea because this sells
don't.
itself on just perfect, terrible fan service. Like it really does. And the idea of just like I don't know, like the idea of the dude was terrible, but the idea of him, I guess could work if maybe it wasn't set in a fucking high school, like maybe college level.
Let's rewind and explain just exactly what this
Yeah.
series is. I'll go ahead and do it since I have all the names written down here. I
Yes.
take notes now. I'm an adult. Anyways, this series is about all-girls high school that's going co-ed soon because the headmaster wants a strong baseball team. And so what he's playing, so his son, Oji, who is the worst person imaginable, and I hate him, we all hate him, I'm sure,
Oh yeah.
is not down with this and wants to sabotage it, but then he decides not to because his dad's other plan to make a cheerleading squad ends up making him go along with it because he's in love with Itsuki, the class president, because he's a horn dog and thinks only with his penis.
Yeah, and we should
Yep.
note that his son is the only male going to that school, and he uses that power to put hidden cameras everywhere just to peep on
In
girls.
bathrooms, in locker rooms.
And when it gets,
Anywhere you'll see a girl somewhat naked, there is a camera there watching them. Fuck this guy.
Yep.
I don't
And-
care that it's your goddamn father. Like,
it says
That's
it
fucked
up
up.
front that this is based on no rules of reality, and then when the student council president reports him for all of this, the guy just goes, "You can't do anything about it," and then the father goes, "Not to say this too loudly, but I can't." It's like, why can't you? Oh, because they put the disclaimer that this is not based in any reality, so they can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, this
no!
pretty.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, this series has a pretty stupid premise to begin with, but I'd argue the reason this series doesn't work at all is just because of that one single fucking character of OG. I cannot begin to tell you how much I hate this guy, and I usually like pervert characters to some degree, because, I mean, I am a pervert, as we're going to find out as this podcast goes along.
Relatable.
Oh, everyone already knows, dude. Like, don't even hide it anymore.
Yeah, but this guy is just absolute fucking garbage. He, for like most of the series, he doesn't give a shit about consent. He tries to blackmail people. He thinks he knows what's best for everyone else when he's just trying to indulge in his own fantasies. And when Chapter 4, when it makes a point that he does have like some limits that he won't like let other people harm the girls or something, it's so complete bullshit because he's still a fucking creeper.
Yeah, no, I remember. Chapter 4 was the one with, like, the paid website.
No, that
Going
was
up,
the
wasn't
beach
it?
episode, the beach chapter.
Oh.
Yeah, no, the girl's out, and the girl has an outfit malfunction, and he covers her up, and they like make an conversation that he won't touch them or anything like that. But he's still a fucking creeper.
Yep.
He absolutely.
Yeah, he
He's
still
not
has
that
pictures. He still has cameras in the fucking bathrooms.
Yeah, he has pictures of, women going to the bathroom from the bottom of the toilet.
Yep.
I still don't understand how that.
The chapter that made me truly hate this guy, and I mean, I hated him, but the one where it was just, like, irredeemable was, there's a chapter where a website goes up, a paid website, where someone is posting pictures of all the girls in the school kind of undressing and stuff. And, of course, everyone thinks it's OG, and for God knows it could have just been him. Really, that chapter should have been about every girl in the school using that as a way to get him expelled. That would have been a much better chapter. But, they figure out that OG couldn't have done it because it was done from the angle of, like, of where someone would be standing. So he has to figure out who's doing it. And it turns out who's doing it is basically someone who's into voyeurism who got into it because he was taking photos of them. And it's like, so you're no, this doesn't. And he's like being all high and mighty, like, oh, I wouldn't put you guys up. I want this place to myself. And it's like, that was the moment like, you're terrible. You're a terrible human being.
It almost makes it worse that they try to excuse what he does sometimes.
But at least he's
Even
not.
though-
But hey, at least we can all say one good thing about him: he's not a pedophile.
Yeah.
That is the one. Like when the
Yeah,
little girl shows up, I was like, oh no.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
At least he backed
Yeah.
out of that road.
I should mention that. Let me go ahead and sum up the other 5 characters real quick. The first one's Hasuke, the class president, probably the most boring girl of the group because she's the serious one who's like all to sundry and stuff, blah blah blah. The second character introduced after, the second character who is in complete garbage introduced is Tomino, the tomboy character who doesn't really give a shit about anything going on and just going with the flow. Third is the secret idol of the cast, Arisa. Fourth is Misako, who is a teacher at this school, who's actually an exhibitionist, but she's really repressed about it. So she keeps doing stuff like thinking how things are lewd and vulgar, but she ends up doing the most provocative or lewd poses. On the other end of the spectrum is Madoka, that girl we were talking about who got pictures taken of her and got into voyeurism, but she's more into exhibitionism to the point she's actually kind of open about it, and probably even more perverted than OG. It's just her perversion is all aimed directed at her and not everyone else.
Yeah.
And honestly, her and Misako are the two best characters because, good God,
it's repressed exhibitionism next to open exhibitionism, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, like the other three are just kind of boring. It was clear at that point he didn't really know what he wanted to do with the series, but the moment he introduced Misako, I think he figured out just what type of fetish he was trying to really aim for here.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if this series left OG out completely and just made it this weird comedy series about these 5 girls realizing they're all kind of weird and kinky about wanting to be seen, it could have worked on some level, at least as a weird oddity. But unfortunately, because this is made for straight male otaku garbage, we have to have the fucking otaku garbage character. Because apparently this is funny and hilarious to the population somewhere, even though every doujin I keep reading keeps suggesting to me that otaku hate these people just as much as we do.
The funny thing is, you say this must have been popular somewhere. This only lasted 8 chapters.
Oh, I didn't say this was popular. I said they were trying to be popular and they failed miserably.
Yeah. This was done and gone very quickly.
Well, thank goodness.
It's honestly kind of a shame, because if it wasn't for that one fucking character, I would actually defend this series to some point. But they didn't. But he's right there, and he becomes the main character, and he's center stage, and he's doing all these terrible, awful things constantly at every single point, and says terrible, awful things, and the manga keeps trying to make it seem like it's okay in some way, and the fucking last chapter has a fucking transphobic cross-dressing joke in it just to put the shit on the shit cake. God damn it.
Yeah, that was terrible. What else was terrible is that it's like, okay, I'm glad you brought up the last chapter, because honestly, like, we keep talking about this series, but I really think that's the only big thing to talk about, except for maybe the artwork, which I know you'll have something to say on that, Jonathan.
Oh yes, I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah. But the big thing is, like, throughout the series, it's as you described. He's doing all these awful things, completely just breaking, like, every law that should be about this. And it's like he's basically forcing these girls into the club against their will, except maybe what was her name? The open exhibitionist?
Madoka, she joins
Madoka.
Yeah, she joins.
Yeah, she joins willingly.
Oh,
Everyone else is kind of forced
Arisa,
into
I think
this.
Arisa does too. Tomino, I don't.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, the only ones he forces in are. The only one he forces in is Misako, looking back, because Asuke was already going to do it, and he wasn't a part of it yet until he saw her in her uniform. Tomino just does whatever and just joins because he asked her to, and after some argument, she's like, yeah, okay. Arisa joins because the other 2 girls want her advice on choreography, and she decides to stay with the group. And Madoka wants him because, she's a huge fucking pervert. Misako's the only one he tries to force in, but when it gets brought up around the other girls, they call him out on it that he can't actually do that, but she decides to stay anyways. Okay. So I think that case he was just making a bluff.
Right, yeah, I was wrong about that. Yeah, then I can rephrase, because then I know what I was going for then. He does all these terrible things to the girls, even though they all agree to join, which makes no goddamn sense, because it's well known throughout the school what kind of pervert he is. The first time we see him in class, in the first chapter, Every other girl is basically spaced out from him.
He's near a garbage pile, if memory serves.
Is he?
I
Near a garbage
I know
pile?
he's yeah, I think there's like a bunch of trash thrown at him or something. Which is fitting if that's the case.
That's where he belongs.
Yeah.
No, he is.
But it's like-
that is what he is.
Yeah. So there are all these girls. He sexually harasses each one that comes to the club.
Oh, absolutely.
And he forces the teacher to come in basically by filming her doing all this stuff against her will. Once again, doing the same law-breaking thing that he always does in every chapter. And then at the end of the series, it's like they have this big get-together where it's like they say, "Oh, we're gonna keep the cheerleading club alive that you tried to build. So watch us cheer for you one last time, rah rah." And it's like, no, he's done. I don't. And he's.
To be
and
fair,
I hate
he
that.
did.
I hate.
To be fair, he did help them realize they're all kinky motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, though. Nothing in the writing about this series led us to believe that they really gave a damn about this guy. Except about the whole finding their fetishes, but that's whatever.
And the fourth in one moment in chapter 4 with the president girl, because she is the one who comes to the epiphany that he won't actually touch any of them. She's the only one who seems to have genuine feelings for him because she's the Tsundere, obviously. The other 4 could not give less of it. The other 4 just don't care.
Okay, then. You've got one mild.
And
and I really
Madoka,
do say mild reason that she would be there, and 4 others that make no
yeah, the other
goddamn
4
sense.
don't make sense. I'm not going to argue with you on that.
And it's like, I'm reading that, I'm like, nothing about this scene is believable, because every one of these girls should at least, in some little way, even the one that kind of likes him, should in some way hate him.
Yep. It is just, he's a terrible person, but he's a nice guy about being a terrible person. That makes no sense, but whatever. Just go with it. Here's your penny shots.
I think they could... That is a... Okay, my advice earlier was to just take this guy out completely, but thematically there is a point to him being there once they introduce Misako and Madoka. He's basically their fetish opposites. The guy who likes to watch, not the guy who likes to be watched. So if they just tweaked his character so he actually respected the boundaries of other people instead of was a gigantic fucking asshole, he could have worked. Like, maybe he just explored his fetish on the internet, or maybe they just switch his gender entirely and just downplay the fetish elements a little, and then introduce it as the series starts to reveal what it actually wants to do and what the joke is. But of course, that's just me in my own little dream world at this point.
Yeah. Alright. So we said we're going to talk about the artwork.
Oh,
This is... You want to go first?
Yes.
Because I think we're going to say the same thing.
Could you remind me of the artist's last name again? I forget.
The artist's last name is Mitsunaga.
Yeah, Mitsunaga. The work on the art on Princess Resurrection started pretty bad, but it got progressively better as he developed his own style, made these like weird, off-putting faces, these great expressions, these really cool character designs. Like, his characters were appealing to the eye, but it not too much because it fit with the overall weird gothic style his like horror series was going for. It was a very weird style, but it worked for that type of series. But here he is trying to make edgy comedy, and his style doesn't work because it's not honestly that erotic of a style. For one thing, he cannot draw butts. And this is actually this actually creates a plot hole in the second chapter because he's trying to find the girl with the perfect butt. Here we have a second chapter where the main plot point is that one girl has this absolutely perfect butt the main character is trying to find, except he can't seem to draw butts at all. I mean, there are thighs, there's a skirt, there's panties, there are no butts. And it's like this for almost the entirety of the series, except like I can probably count all the instances I actually saw butts in this series on two hands, which is a problem because this is an ecchi comedy, and skin is constantly showing throughout it. How do you fail that badly to draw sexy bodies in a fucking sex comedy? It's astounding. I mean,
the thing of this this manga is 50% of it is panty shots.
Oh yeah,
under plaid school skirts or cheerleader outfits. That is 50%. So you need to know how to draw an ass here.
yeah, that's
important.
It's so noticeable. This guy seriously loves his panty shots. But my God, he cannot draw butts worth a damn, except outside like 1 or 2 panels. It's just amazing. And the rest of the art style doesn't fare much better. Like, the limbs are usually really long or oddly thin at points, which once again works fine in Princess Resurrection because that is a horror-themed action series, and it's supposed to look all weird and wanky. But in this case, they're going even more strange and noodly than even a clamp works, so it just comes off as off-putting or odd at some points.
Funny enough, while you were talking about Princess Resurrection's artwork, I decided to look it up real quick, see when it published. Princess Resurrection was between 2005 and 2013. This was done in 2008, so this was actually done at the same time as Princess Resurrection.
Yeah,
so...
I remember seeing ads for it in the scans I read.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hang on here, I'm trying to remember one other thing about the art I wanted to bring up. Oh yeah, about the only really positive thing it does well at all times I noticed is that on the cheerleading uniforms, the letters and like on the uniforms and like the folds of it and the wrinkles are all just perfectly meticulously drawn to like show the character's body shape. The problem is just the style doesn't work. There are no butts in the outfits that show off the fucking butt. So it's just a kind of a minor moot point at the end of the day. Like if he had just hired a different artist for this, maybe I could defend this series on art alone, but he didn't. He did it himself, and
it shows.
Yeah. Apparently he did another sex-like comedy at one point. Not as heavy as this one though. It was about a priestess with really, really big boobs or something. I don't think it ever got translated by anyone. I saw ads for it though, but I don't think anyone cared about it. After Cheer Cheer, I can't blame them.
Yeah. Yeah, I really can't add much to that. You covered every point.
Yeah,
it's just not a correct art style for what he's going for, and that's the simplest way to put this.
I look at a lot of smut, so I have strong opinions about how to do good smut artwork.
I'll say this right now. If like any of the artists for some of the smut that you've tweeted about like did the art for this, like it would be much better.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, depending, because there are some really crappy artists in the porn scene too.
Yeah.
Well, one of the good ones, you know what I mean.
But if like someone like Crimson or someone like that did the art for this, it generally
guys who know who know what they're doing.
Yeah, it just generally look much better. But unfortunately, that doesn't solve the big problem of the series, the living trash man.
Yep.
So Joe, David, what do you guys think?
Bad.
I'm with him. But it looks really plain, and it's not sexy. I mean, I can, jump outside of whatever and say, okay, this art is sexy or it is not sexy, and just ignore the right. But this ain't it. This is. I can see they're trying to hit the fetishes of schoolgirls, they're trying to hit the cheerleader fetish, and just none of it really works. Like, from just a aesthetic level, it's just okay. So you put people with boobs in a cheerleading outfit, and it's like I have actually read books on photography and art and how to like do things. So it's like you get an aesthetic aha moment or like something that grabs you, and there's absolutely nothing that grabs me. And I'm putting way too much thought into this. I understand.
Don't worry, I understand very, very much how important this is.
David, any comments you want to throw in?
I'm not very into ecchi stuff in the first place, and even on that level, this is just boring and not fun and not even very attractive. Like, I just didn't even enjoy it at all.
All right then.
I have mixed thoughts on this myself.
Oh, just mixed?
No, I mean I'm agreeing with you guys. This is garbage. But I have mixed thoughts because I think there's a really good idea in here for a funny, ecchi comedy, and I know it can be done. And it's the angle I'm focusing on. Let me try pronouncing this. Exhibitionism. It's always been kind of an interesting fetish to me that whenever I see it, like in a manga, it's the least porny fetish I can find that isn't just outright strange and obscure, and it's mostly about getting into characters' heads, what they're thinking about in a situation, or even like creating these interesting consenting situations where one character will leave one tied up like in a very out of the way place but exposed for the excitement. And what I like about this series is that it puts the characters in a very public situation, and they eventually start realizing through it that they're into some kinky shit. And if they would actually follow that angle, I think there could have been something to this. But of course, the problem goes back to the OG, who just throws everything off terribly, and the manga tries to use him as some sort of teacher to teach these girls about the wonders of perversion and crap like that, except he's awful and terrible, and I hate him, and I think we've talked about him enough. So yeah, there's an idea for something really interesting here, but my god, I can't believe it failed this badly, especially from such a talented writer and artist. But god, this guy should not be making sex comedies.
So what would you rate it as, Jonathan?
I'm not going to give it an outright one, because I can at least say that I enjoyed the chapter where the little sister came in, because she comes in, she sees her sister on a pole and just shouts, "Strip club!" First funny joke in the entire series. So I will at least give it a 2 out of 10 for that. Also, plus Madoka gets really creepy in that chapter, which is nice.
Alright. Joe, what would you give it?
Just 3 out of 10. I don't hate it enough to give it a lower grade, but it's not good at all.
Wow, I gave the lower grade here.
Yeah.
David, what do you give it?
A 1.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Alright.
Give your score, Walt. I have my calculator with me.
A 2 out of 10.
That's not a lot of math.
Yeah, surprisingly, I am with Jonathan on this one. I did make me laugh, and this is technically a comedy, so I cannot, good conscience, give it an outright 1. But goddamn, this was terrible.
20% out of 100.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's in the bottom 1/5 of crap. That's fitting. Just an absolute failure on most every level.
Unlimited.
Do you guys think Mitsunaga, if he's ever at like a signing event and like he's signing volumes of Princess Resurrection and any other series he's done, and then there's that one motherfucker that walks up with Kier, you think he just gives that motherfucker a dirty look?
I think he's like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my
My real
god.
masterpiece.
That would not surprise me, because I mean, we've seen Pandora and the Crimson Shell happen, and the creators of that seem pretty proud of themselves, so who knows.
Oh my god, I would like to think that Mitsunaga has a little more decency than that to say this is his magnum opus.
Somehow, with manga artists, I think that when they're being their most honest is when they're being their most perverted, and that's what they'll be most proud of at the end of the day.
Fair enough.
The more I...
Fair enough.
So Nisio's favorite work is Nisei Monogatari.
Nisei's weird because he's a novelist for one thing, and he's also insane. I don't think he thinks like normal humans does. I think he's like that famous hobo intellectual from New York who like talked to pigeons and was writing a book on the secrets of the universe. I think he's on that level.
Oh, tell me that got published.
Sadly, it got lost to history.
Oh, that's a shame.
So yeah, Cheer fucking sucks.
Tragic.
Yeah.
In
Oh.
conclusion.
As a random note, we have been doing this for an hour and 20 minutes, and we started about an hour and a half into the Oscars. The Oscars are still officially going. So to tell you how long the
Are you
Oscars
serious?
are. Yep.
Did
Mike
Leo
Max not
win?
won everything yet?
They haven't even given awards for Best Actor and Best Actress yet.
Let
So
me search.
Oh,
let me search
Jesus.
It took 12 meats to make.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned this in the recording, but we are filming this on the night of the Oscars.
Oh, there's
Everyone.
nothing about Leo winning yet.
no,
Still up in the air.
it's
Leo's not gonna win because the Academy just doesn't fucking like him at this point.
When
It's
will
a weak
Cheer
field
be
this
given
year.
its due, Academy?
I mean, Jesus Christ. Don't noobs these days even check the wiki?
They're just gonna give Mad Max the award for The Revenant instead.
I saw
Revenant
that
wins.
tweet.
Here you go, man.
You said that, and in my mind, I saw the director of Mad Max walking up to receive the award for Revenant.
Just kicks Leo out of the way. Like, no,
Yeah,
you can't have it.
like... No. Kanye needs to get back into the limelight, so he just kicks Leo out of the way and say, "I'll let you finish, Leo. I'll let you finish." But who the fuck else is even? I don't even know anyone else except Leo nominated. So fuck it.
The guy who played Steve Jobs is up for it. Michael
What's his name?
Fassbender.
Let me.
Oh, I was about to
A
say
bunch of
that.
white
But
people.
Michael Fassbender had the best performance of all time. Thank you. Good night. Cheers, fucking over. This sucked.